magnificent Huntington Beach with a special guest. This is Bill Melvin. He's the CEO of Buell Motorcycles, and he's resurrected the Buell brand, and this is his new special. It's the Super Cruiser. We saw it about a year or so ago. Roland Sands helped to craft it, and now this is in nearly production form. Took it for a spin today, and it's fast. It's really fast. It'll do second gear wheelies off the throttle, no clutch. This is not an FXR. This is way faster than an FXR. Bill, tell us about your concept here and what the reaction's been among the V-twin enthusiasts.
Oh, man. Well, it's cool to be at Roland's Moto Beach Classic because he helped design the concept.
Yep.
They designed a beautiful bike. And, you know, our whole team likes to make cool stuff and go fast. So, we got with Roland, said, hey, use all of our fast components, make it fast, make it stylish. And that's what they did. They did a really great job. And then for us, now we're putting it into production. The version 2 prototypes are just smooth. They are balanced. They whip around.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had a bunch of, a few different people test riding it. I'd say a bunch, a good couple handfuls. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh, that's unlike any other cruiser I've ever ridden. It feels more like a race bike, but just comfortable, stylish, balanced. You're riding, you're looking around. It's got a lot of power. It likes to go fast. It's got big brakes, so the brakes stop quick. It likes to cruise at 6,000 or 7,000, and from there you just hit the throttle and it rips like you may have been doing. And the feedback's been great. It's light. We're just having a good time getting it close to production and then kick it out.
So yeah, it was really fun blasting this thing around. This is a cruiser unlike anything else. Now, to restart a defunct brand, I figured, people are going to be hesitant, but you guys got a ton of early deposits. And what I was amazed with today, we're riding around and it seemed like everybody knew what this bike was. And several of them had deposits on the bike. Yeah. We're just driving around Huntington Beach, never mind the country. Yeah. Tell us about the reaction from the people out there who may not have thought this could come from Buell.
Oh, well, the early deposit people, the pre-orders are like dear to our heart. Yeah. Like that crew has been super passionate. And there's a lot of them out in Southern California. We did a survey of them, and there's a lot of guys and, some girls, a lot of guys that like to go fast from like 25 to 45 years old. Okay. That young group's like, I want that bike. Yeah. And they're people who've been riding their whole lives, been riding typically like racing dirt bikes. And then they like, hey, I want the Super Cruiser. That's the bike I want. And so they've been great. We're listening to what people say, right? Like they sit on it we've had some people riding it. We've had testing done on it. We're listening to what people are saying. And in our final revisions, trying to get everything dialed in for them. Gas tank. We had a different graphic on one of the gas tanks. Mm-hmm. We did a survey. Most people like this one. So great. This is going to be the production gas tank. It'll have a little change of the angle on the logo. Okay. Right now it's a little slanted. We're going to make it a little flatter. They'll have the Pegasus like this. Just beautiful paint job. Seats are going to be Saddlemen. Mm-hmm.
Well, the buzz is real because just as we were setting this shot up, the guy who started talking to me, and he rode down from San Francisco, Northern California, just so he could see this bike in person.
Yeah.
Cool. That's incredible.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. He's there. We sent it out to people. Hey, we're going to be here. You want to come see the bike? And he said he didn't want to miss it.
All right. So this is the second version of the prototype. Yep. It's getting very close to production. Yep. But there are going to be a couple of changes before this enters production. The exhaust system we see here is going to be EPA compliant. This will kind of stay the same.
This is EPA. This is actually California compliant.
Okay.
There's EPA and California. Yeah. This is all the things you need for California compliant.
But two things you just announced, a new suspension supplier, yep, and the thing that you haven't announced yet, a new brake supplier.
Yep.
So tell us what you can.
That's great. So we've been working for a long time to try to bring as much back to U.S. manufacturing as possible. We're building these in Michigan. We build the engines in Michigan. It's our engine. We are doing everything we can on this bike where we're resupplying a lot of new suppliers to have it be U.S. based. And so we got in contact with Fox. They make some really great high performance race suspensions for a lot of different products. And we said, hey, we're thinking about doing a high performance American suspension that you would see on like the highest performance bikes. And they said, well, we don't have a motorcycle high performance and we would love to build one with you guys. So
Fantastic.
yeah, we're dialing it in. We got great engineers working on it on our team and their team. So it's going to have a Fox suspension from Fox Factory. So
The fork will
are built in the USA.
The fork will be built in USA too. It's not just their internals.
Correct.
It's a complete bespoke suspension for the Buell.
Built in the USA.
Yeah.
Yep. Our gas tanks and our fenders come from a supplier in Michigan. Our frames come from a supplier out in Pennsylvania. Our engine cases come from a supplier in Michigan.
Wow.
The fairings are Memphis Shades. Our our electronics and ECM system comes from Indiana. So I mean, these are our suppliers that we've worked to develop our systems with.
Yeah.
Over, Buell's been working on that. Some of it, like the electronics ECM system, is over 10 years old. It's a good system, but it's built in USA. So we're working to bring as much back for USA supply chain. It's been productive. I mean, the tires, we had an option to have some really high performance tires coming out of possibly Asia, or Dunlop makes the Q5S in Buffalo, New York. Let's go with the Dunlop Q5S.
I dig that.
Great tire, built
leaning on American suppliers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the brakes will come from an American supplier too. You're not ready to release the brand.
Correct.
So that's kind of going to be one. I heard on the forum comments, some people said, oh, I wanted the perimeter brake like Buells have always had. But it's going to be difficult to make that
ABS.
Work with ABS, right?
It's easier to work with a high performance dual disc for ABS. It also gives people a lot of options for other brands. Brembo makes a great brake system. Our super touring bike, the little more sport touring bike that we have, will have Brembos on that.
Okay.
So, they make a great brake, and the ones that we'll have on this will be comparable.
Okay.
Very high performance.
And so we've got a cruiser now.
Yeah.
Is there going to be more cruisers? Is that hole filled or is it just started?
I don't know. We got a few different things in the back rooms we're working on. So, I mean, the cool thing is we got people on our team. We've been growing our team like crazy, and we're, it's important to us when we bring on new people that they work well with the team. They like to be quick, efficient, like to do cool stuff, like to have high performance and have a high level of quality. As we're working on the designs, working on the bikes, and starting to see like other things we want to test, things that we're working on in the background, there's a lot of different stuff. So there's a bunch of things that we're playing with, testing. Can't say what's going to be next exactly, but there could be some other cruisers, a little different, but cool.
That makes sense.
Fast, high performance.
Yep. Okay, so the name on the tank is Buell. What do you think Eric Buell thinks of this?
So we talked, the last time we really talked was like 3 years ago. And we talked 6 months ago when he released his record. We caught up, nice discussion. But we really talked about us relaunching Buell. He was excited for it. At that time he was doing an electric bike.
Right.
Since that he's retired. We've been, it's important for us to pay homage to the brand and make sure that everything we're doing is high performance. The work they did on this engine is unbelievable, right? I mean, this engine is the highest performance V-twin built in the US, 185, 175 horsepower, depending on the configuration. And that's something that he and the team had worked on and built and engineered. And we're continuing to add durability to that. We're bringing some of the supply chain back to the US for that. But, those are things that they worked on for a long time, continued to improve. And then we're taking those components and some new designs and continuing to improve it. So
you're building on that heritage.
Yeah. I mean, Eric and I worked closely together for a year and a half. We got along really well, and then we moved to Michigan, and it was before we had the brand. It was when we had EBR.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we were making sport bikes. So, the volume of the sport bikes is lower. The volume on this cruiser are just shooting up. So good for us.
So, I mean, Eric developed his bikes because he likes sport bikes.
Yes.
Now,
but he also did work on the FXR.
He did work on the FXR, which this is kind of an homage to that.
Yep.
But you're saying the success of this is going to far exceed what the sport bikes are. Is that fair to say? And like probably geometrically higher. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geometrically. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for, a company that's relaunching and growing, and it's awesome to have great fans that are passionate about it. And, we're listening to them. We're asking them questions. We don't just say like, oh, we're going to do this. And, we're like, what do you guys want? And we're working on bringing that to everything that we're doing.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
I had a blast on this thing. I hope I didn't mess with the steering head bearings from the wheelies. I did a couple of those. So yeah, there'll be a full story from Ride Report on the Super Cruiser and American Rider. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel because it really helps us out. Thanks, Bill.
Awesome.
See you next time.